Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start. Kindly start taking your seats. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our last call. Kindly start taking your seats. We will be starting in a minute. Thank you. فخامة الرئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي رئيس الجمهورية.
His Excellency President Sisi, the President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, and the heads of states and delegations.
السيدات والسادة أصحاب الفخامة رؤساء الدول والحكومات السادة
The heads of state and heads of the government and heads of delegation, I would like to welcome you once again to the 21st Comesa Summit. And we resume the work on this session. Mr. Gabriel Masuko, head of the legal affairs of the Comesa, will be moderating this session.
Thank you very much, Jasmine. Excellencies, it is my pleasure to invite the Comesa Secretary General, Her Excellency, Madam Chileshe Mpundu Kapwepwe, to give the summit her brief statement within 4 minutes. Excellency, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Mr. Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, President of the Republic of Egypt and our host and Chairman of Comesa Authority, Your Excellency, Mr. Andre Rajoelina, President of the Republic of Madagascar and outgoing Chairman, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Excellencies, Heads of International and Regional Organization, distinguished delegates, all protocols observed. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to you all and thank you for taking time to attend the 21st Summit of Comesa Heads of State and Government, physically and those joining us virtually. At the very outset, allow me to pay tribute to our host, His Excellency Mr. Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, President of the Republic of Egypt, and the government and the people of this great country for the support and contribution towards the realization of the ideals and objectives of Comesa's integration agenda. Further, on behalf of Comesa member states, allow me to express our sincere gratitude to the Arab Republic of Egypt for hosting Comesa Regional Investment Agency, RIA, since its establishment. Notwithstanding the adverse impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, a review of inter-Comesa trade shows that Egypt, a member of the Comesa Free Trade Area since 2000, has continued to be a top-performing economy in the region. Your Excellencies, I'd be amiss in my responsibility if I did not acknowledge the visionary leadership of the outgoing chair of the Comesa Authority, His Excellency President Rajoelina, who has been at the helm of Comesa in the past 3 years. The Republic of Madagascar took over leadership in 2016 and has cumulatively led for 5 years. I want to thank you most sincerely, Your Excellency, and your government for this extraordinary support and leadership rendered to our organization. Excellencies, last year, 2020, was characterized by the negative impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, which represented challenges in how Comesa conducts its business. Comesa's region average growth slowed down to 0.6% in 2020 from 5.2% in 2019. Notwithstanding these challenges, notable achievements were made, some of which are highlighted in today's 2020 Comesa Annual Report, which will be launched later today. Excellencies, disruption of cross-border trade in goods and services as a result of the pandemic heightened the need for digitalization for trade facilitation instruments, which has been a priority for Comesa, having recognized its ICTs as a critical enabler of digital revolution. In response, Comesa developed the COVID-19 online platform for exchanging and sharing information on the availability of essential products within member states to facilitate trade in the new environment. Regionally and across the continent, Comesa contributed immensely towards the realization of the tripartite free trade area and the African continental free trade area, which have expanded the market and provided more opportunities for trade. You may recall, Your Excellency, that the TFTA was signed here in Egypt in 2015. It's therefore important to remind member states that have not yet done so to sign the agreement, as we only require 3 more ratifications for the agreement to enter into force. Excellencies, Comesa has continued to facilitate infrastructure development in transport, energy, and ICT sectors through providing support for project development, feasibility studies, resource mobilization, technical and advisory services, and did not stress the critical role of infrastructure development in building productive capacities, lowering production costs, and ultimately fostering sustained economic development. Comesa recognizes the increased investments as a key strategic objective of its regional integration agenda. Excellencies, industrialization also remains a core to our integration and economic development agenda. In this respect, Comesa has continued to work towards improving manufacturing value-added performance and, more significantly, to increase agricultural productivity and agro-processing manufacturing. I'm pleased to inform this August summit that in support of Comesa industrial strategy and with the support of the European Union, Comesa is implementing a program aimed at enhancing private sector competitiveness and access to markets in the region and beyond. In line with our treaty, Comesa continued to advocate for gender equality, empowerment of women and youth, and social development through the launch of the 50 African Women Speak digital platform in member states and across 3 regional economic communities. The platform enables women to access finance and non-financial services, including experience sharing. To ensure peace and stability necessary for regional integration, Comesa continued to implement its governance, peace, and security program. Comesa election observation missions have been instrumental in contributing to upholding of democratic values and principles in our member states. Notwithstanding the travel restrictions in the past 2 years, we have continued to support our member states in holding elections, including the latest Zambia general elections held in August 2021, which witnessed a peaceful transition of power. Excellencies, allow me also to highlight the invaluable contributions made by the Comesa institutions created to promote regional cooperation in development. These Comesa institutions have continued to grow, with some attracting continental and global membership. In this regard, our institution's success record in providing specialized services to deepen our integration remains unmatched. Your Excellencies, I'd therefore like to call on member states who have not yet done so to consider becoming members of our institutions in order to fully take advantage of your Comesa membership. Let me turn to the next 5-year plan. The new Comesa medium-term strategic plan strategy is guided by 4 strategic pillars and provides yet another opportunity for Comesa to facilitate the achievement of sustainable economic and social progress in member states. The new plan recognizes the socio-economic adverse impacts of COVID-19 on Comesa's integration agenda and incorporates policy intervention required as economies enter into successive phases of crisis response, recovery, and building of resilience. Excellencies, I appeal for renewed political will and commitment from our member states to Comesa's regional integration agenda and a rededication to the ideals and goals set out in our Comesa Treaty. It is my hope that the renewed commitment will address the challenges faced by Comesa, which include, among others, slow ratification and domestication of legal instruments, delayed implementation of decisions by the authority and the Council of Ministers. Excellencies, as I conclude, allow me to take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to our cooperating partners for the consistent support over the years. I once again thank our outgoing Chair of the Authority, His Excellency President Rajoelina, for leadership that he and his government has rendered to our organization. And I also in turn want to thank our host, President El-Sisi, for graciously hosting this assembly in this beautiful new capital. As your Secretariat, we look forward to your leadership to steer our organization and region towards greater economic development, prosperity, under the theme, building resilience through strategic digital economic integration. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Excellencies, please allow me to welcome a statement from the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Moussa Faki Mahamat. You have the floor, please.
فخامة الرئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, President of Egypt and the Chair of the Comesa,
République de Madagascar et Président sortant de la Comesa. Excellencies, Head of State, Madame Secretary General, Commissioners of Comesa, ladies and gentlemen.
Secretary General of the Comesa, ladies and gentlemen.
Congratulate His Excellency Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, President of the Arab Republic of Egypt and incoming Chairman of Comesa Authority, who is also kindly hosting this session in Cairo. I also want to recognize His Excellency Andry Rajoelina, President of the Republic of Madagascar and outgoing Chairman of Comesa Authority, for his leadership during his tenure. Allow me also to greet the head of states and government who, through your presence here today, testify your commitment to making Comesa a dynamic regional economic community. Finally, I would like to express my gratitude to Madame Chileshe Mpundu Kapwepwe, Secretary General of Comesa, for inviting the African Union Commission to participate at this 21st ordinary session of the Comesa Summit of Head of State and Government. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this summit is being held in a particular context marked by the COVID-19 pandemic with its continuing negative public health and socioeconomic impacts on our countries and our economies. Despite this existential challenge, I am happy to note that our continent continues to show great resilience. Here I want to salute the remarkable work of Africa CDC within the framework of the continental strategy against COVID-19. However, the issue of access to vaccines remains a major source of concern for the continent. To date, only 6% of the African population has received a dose of any vaccine. The regional economic communities, together with the African Union, must continue to mobilize efforts towards the local production of vaccines. The entry into force of the treaty establishing the African Medicines Agency supports existing continental mechanisms, including the African Vaccine Acquisition Task Team, AVAT, and the Partnership for African Vaccine Manufacturing. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this summit, namely strengthening resilience and strategic digital economic integration, is in line with the program of action agreed by the 20th Comesa Summit held in July 2018 in Lusaka. This is in line with a key ambition of Comesa, which is the digitalization of the economic integration process of its member states. This vast integration program, particularly in terms of trade facilitation and free intra-community movement of goods and persons, was slowed down by the COVID-19 pandemic. It is my hope that the summit will revitalize the pre-COVID momentum. Better still, Comesa, through its various actions within the purview of the intra-community integration, has largely prepared the ground for the establishment of the African Continental Free Trade Area. At this juncture, I would like to seize this opportunity to stress the perfect convergence of vision between the African Union and Comesa, which can be seen in the strategic choices of Comesa to promote gender parity, and above all, by the central place given to the training of young people as the main pillar of the Africa of tomorrow. It is my ardent wish that the African Union Commission and all the regional economic communities join hands in a concerted effort to build the Africa we want in order to ensure a decent life free from fear, unemployment, poverty, and suffering. It is in this spirit and within the framework of the ongoing institutional reforms of our union that the Assembly adopted the revised protocol of relation between the AU and the regional economic communities. This protocol entered into force on the 10th of November this year, following the third signature, that of Sensa. The remaining regs, which have not yet done so, or called upon to ratify the protocol. Similarly, the division of labor between the AU, the regional economic communities, regional mechanism, and the member states, the preparation of which is being finalized, will bring about better efficiency and the desired synergies in our collective actions. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, but as we work to achieve these ambitious and legitimate objectives, we also must address the worrying phenomenon of unconstitutional changes of government, intrastate armed conflicts that threatens social political stability on the continent to the detriment of the well-being of our peoples and our development effort. It is our duty to mobilize all our efforts to restore peace in our member state facing instability by being true to the letter and the spirit of our union, which is to seek African solutions to Africans' problems. I thank you for your kind attention and wish you fruitful deliberations.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Excellencies, please allow me to welcome a statement by the African Development Bank President, Dr. Akinwi Adesina. Excellency, you have the floor in 4 minutes. Thank you for your understanding.
Excellencies, heads of state and government, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me to speak at this 21st summit of the Comesa Authority of Heads of State and Government. Your Excellency, Andre Rajoelina, Mr. President, I wish to commend you and to congratulate you for your very ably guiding the Comesa region through one of its most tumultuous periods with the COVID-19 pandemic. Well done. Your Excellency, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, I wish you much success in your new role as chairperson of the Comesa Authority. I have no doubt at all that under your outstanding leadership, Comesa will reach even greater heights. Excellencies, leadership is the ability to see far and bring the future to the present. That's what you have done and continue to do for the continent through this summit. Indeed, the COVID-19 situation has shown us the value of having smart economies. With rapid growth of e-health systems to tackle the pandemic, and of course, as economies were supported and transformed by digital services, running on big data and connectivity infrastructure and strong electronic payment systems. As Africa builds back better and smarter with focus on digital economy and digital integration, we should pay greater attention to 3 critical areas. First, digital infrastructure. Without affordable information and communication technology and reliable power, broadband internet will remain out of reach for millions of low-income Africans, especially those living in remote areas. The African Development Bank continues to invest heavily in the financing and implementation of digital connectivity infrastructure. We catalyze investments worth $235 million in the Eastern Africa submarine cable system. A 10,000-kilometer submarine system helps service the voice, data, video, and internet needs of multiple countries in the Comesa and SADC regions. The bank has invested in building the Central Africa fiber backbone with 124 million euros, including Cameroon, Central African Republic, and the Republic of Congo, which will cut down internet costs in these countries by as much as 50%. We partnered with 44 million euros with the European Union to finance the Trans-Sahara terrestrial fiber backbone for Niger, Chad, and fiber networks. We are investing in innovation infrastructure with technology and innovation parks in Senegal, Cabo Verde, and Rwanda. Second, Your Excellencies, digital inclusion. We must ensure that individuals and communities, including the most disadvantaged, have access to ICT. Broadband internet should be affordable. Government services should be accessible. And applications or online content should be tailored to improve the day-to-day lives of people and the effectiveness of businesses. To drive inclusion, the African Development Bank recently established what we call the Africa Digital Financial Inclusion Facility. This facility will accelerate digital financial inclusion across Africa and aims to give 332 million Africans, including 60% of them being women, access to the formal economy. Third, digital skills. Widening access to ICT is of no use if people, businesses, and governments lack the capacity to develop and use the technologies for productive means. To become tomorrow's tech innovators and entrepreneurs, a critical mass of Africans will need to be equipped with skills in content creation, e-commerce, applications development, network and information security, social media marketing, and of course, data analytics. The African Development Bank is investing heavily now to build digital skills and innovation. Our Coding for Employment program, in partnership with leading global tech companies such as Microsoft and Facebook and LinkedIn and others, is already having significant impacts. In the past 2 years, it has benefited 90,000 youth from 44 countries through a freely accessible e-learning platform and on-site centers in Rwanda, Kenya, Nigeria, Senegal, and Cote d'Ivoire, just to name a few. 14 innovation centers of excellence are now operational in Kenya, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, and Cote d'Ivoire. Your Excellencies, let me use this opportunity to applaud the excellent leadership being provided by His Excellency President Paul Kagame on the Smart Africa Initiative. This initiative, which we strongly support, is helping to map the way to make Africa fully digital and competitive in a world that is increasingly being driven by technologies of the fourth industrial revolution. Your Excellencies, let's continue to work smartly and make Africa smart with rapid digital transformation that will put Africa on the forefront of the fourth industrial revolution. Let's also make sure that we work to make our industries smart industries with digital technologies. This will drive more productive, efficient, and competitive industries for a future that will be dominated by artificial intelligence, 3D printing, and cognitive robots, which will lower the cost of capital compared to labor. Let's industrialize smart. Let's also integrate smart. Your Excellencies, you are smart leaders, and so I am very confident that Africa will do exactly that. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. Excellencies, please allow me to welcome a statement by the UN Under-Secretary General and Executive Secretary of UNECA, Her Excellency Dr. Vera Songwe. You have the floor, please, Excellency. Chairperson, it appears Her Excellency is probably having network or connectivity issues. If Summit may allow, I would wish to invite the Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area, His Excellency Wamkele Mene, to present his brief statement. Excellency, you have the floor, please. Excellencies, it appears again the speaker seems not to be logged on. If Summit may allow, I would wish to proceed and invite the Secretary General of the Organization of the Commonwealth, the Right Honorable Patricia Scotland. You have the floor, please. Excellencies, it appears there is a bit of a glitch with that presentation. If Summit may allow, I would wish to move on and welcome a statement by the World Bank, by the Director for Regional Integration for Africa, Middle East, North Africa regions, Ms. Bothina Guemazi. You have the floor, please.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. It is an honor to address the 21st Summit of the Comesa Authority today. On behalf of the World Bank, kindly allow me to congratulate Madagascar on completing its term as chair and welcome Egypt as the incoming chair. We are committed to work closely with you for building growth and prosperity in the region. The economic shock of COVID-19 is severe in Africa. It could push up to 40 million people into poverty, plunge the continent into its first recession in 25 years, and exacerbate public debt, hurting the poor, informal workers, women, and youth disproportionately. The World Bank is deploying up to $50 billion for COVID response in Africa, focusing on saving lives, on protecting the poor, protecting and creating jobs, and building back better. One of the most important lessons learned from the COVID-19 pandemic is that collective action is a key element of Africa's recovery efforts. Collective action ensures better coordination of response plans, keeping regional trade flows open, addressing fragility that could spill across borders. I would particularly like to applaud the visionary theme of this summit, building resilience through strategic digital economic integration. We believe that a strong and inclusive digital transformation in the continent is key for green and inclusive development, for resilient recovery, for equitable human capital development as the continent focuses on rebuilding after the crisis. Investments and reforms that address digital infrastructure gaps are critical for improving connectivity, for boosting digital inclusion and integration. The ongoing efforts on identification for development, the ongoing efforts on supporting African youth to develop homegrown digital solutions in sectors like e-health, e-agriculture, e-commerce, among many others, will certainly unleash cascading benefits in terms of growth, in terms of more and better jobs, and economic transformation at an unprecedented scale, especially with the African Continental Free Trade Area rollout. The World Bank Group strongly supports Africa's vision to achieve universal and affordable access to digital connectivity by 2030. It supports the continent's ambition for creating a single digital market, a market that leverages economies of scale and network effects far beyond what any individual African country can achieve on its own. Excellencies, the World Bank Group has an ambitious agenda and an ambitious strategy for scaling up regional integration priorities in Africa, working with African countries to focus on regional connectivities, access to energy, to digital and economic and transport corridors, focusing on human capital and development and resilience, as these are the bedrock of shared prosperity, and focusing on trade and market integration to support the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. The African Union Commission and regional economic commissions such as Comesa are the backbone for the implementation of this strategy, a strategy designed to deliver holistic benefits as a complement of the country's program. Our partnership with Comesa aligns with Comesa's vision to build an integrated, internationally competitive regional economic community with high standards of living for its entire population. World Bank support to regional integration in Comesa sub-region includes investment in a number of projects totaling close to $5 billion. These projects are in implementation by member countries and regional institutions, and preparation is underway for new projects to be delivered in a near future in support to Comesa's priorities. Excellencies, to close, I want to assure you of our full commitment and full engagement to work with all stakeholders, work closely with governments, with regional institutions, with the private sector, civil society, and coordinate closely with our development partners to ensure that our operations respond to the expectations of the region and achieve the expected results for the benefits of the populations in the Comesa region. Thank you for your time and kind attention.
And then can we hold for like 2 minutes or something? Can you talk a speech for the president to come?
Thank you very much, Excellency. Excellencies, at this moment in time, your summit will be just awaiting the return of the chairperson. So could I just crave for your indulgence and ask our technical colleagues at the back to just play a short filler as we await the return of His Excellency for the next agenda item. Thank you very much for your understanding.
From the heart of Africa, in Cairo, meets a number of presidents and leaders of Africa in Comesa 21st Summit, the common market of East and South Africa, to discuss the mechanisms of better economic and commercial cooperation between the nations of the African continent. On the 23rd of November, Egypt hosts the 21st Summit and takes over the presidency of Comesa. For a better collaboration, that achieves significant development for Africa. The 21st Comesa Summit, Building Resilience through Strategic Digital Economic Integration. The 23rd of November in Cairo.
Au cœur de l'Afrique, sur le territoire égyptien, au Caire, se réunissent des nombres de chefs d'État et de gouvernement de l'Afrique au 21e sommet du Comesa, le marché commun à l'est et au sud de l'Afrique, pour rechercher les mécanismes d'enracinement de la coopération économique et commerciale entre les nations du continent africain. Le 23 novembre, l'Égypte accueille le 21e sommet et prend en charge la présidence du Comesa pour une coopération régionale réalisant le développement africain. Le 21e sommet du Comesa, édifiant notre résilience par une intégration économique, numérique, stratégique. Le 23 novembre, au Caire.
من قلب إفريقيا على أرض مصر يجتمع عدد من رؤساء وزعماء إفريقيا في قمة دول الكوميسا، السوق المشتركة لشرق وجنوب إفريقيا، لبحث آليات تأصيل التعاون الاقتصادي والتجاري بين دول القارة السمراء. في 23 من نوفمبر مصر تستضيف القمة 21 وتتسلم رئاسة الكوميسا نحو تعاون إقليمي يحقق التنمية لإفريقيا. القمة 21 لدول الكوميسا تعزيز القدرة على الصمود من خلال التكامل الاقتصادي الرقمي الاستراتيجي. 23 من نوفمبر، القاهرة.
From the heart of Africa, in Cairo, meets a number of presidents and leaders of Africa in Comesa 21st Summit, the common market of East and South Africa, to discuss the mechanisms of better economic and commercial cooperation between the nations of the African continent. On the 23rd of November, Egypt hosts the 21st Summit and takes over the presidency of Comesa for a better collaboration that achieves significant development for Africa. The 21st Comesa Summit, Building Resilience through Strategic Digital Economic Integration. The 23rd of November in Cairo.
Au cœur de l'Afrique, sur le territoire égyptien, au Caire, se réunissent des nombres de chefs d'État et de gouvernement de l'Afrique au 21e sommet du Comesa, le marché commun à l'est et au sud de l'Afrique, pour rechercher les mécanismes d'enracinement de la coopération économique et commerciale entre les nations du continent africain. Le 23 novembre, l'Égypte accueille le 21e sommet et prend en charge la présidence du Comesa pour une coopération régionale réalisant le développement africain. Le 21e sommet du Comesa, édifiant notre résilience par une intégration économique, numérique, stratégique. Le 23 novembre, au Caire.
من قلب إفريقيا على أرض مصر يجتمع عدد من رؤساء وزعماء إفريقيا في قمة دول الكوميسا، السوق المشتركة لشرق وجنوب إفريقيا، لبحث آليات تأصيل التعاون الاقتصادي والتجاري بين دول القارة السمراء. في 23 من نوفمبر مصر تستضيف القمة 21 وتتسلم رئاسة الكوميسا نحو تعاون إقليمي يحقق التنمية لإفريقيا. القمة 21 لدول الكوميسا تعزيز القدرة على الصمود من خلال التكامل الاقتصادي الرقمي الاستراتيجي. 23 من نوفمبر القاهرة.
No, they didn't show up. So we are now on the last item. Yeah, what, last? They did not show up. Okay. Yes. Thank you very much, Excellencies. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, according to the summit program, the next item that the summit is seized with is the launch of the Comesa annual report by the outgoing chairperson of the Comesa Authority, His Excellency Mr. Henry Rajoelina, President of the Republic of Madagascar. For this item, for this agenda item, President Rajoelina is going to give a short statement, which will then be followed by an event that will involve the outgoing and the incoming chairperson. Excellency, over to you, sir.
Excellence, Monsieur le chef d'État.
Excellencies, heads of state and government, honorable members of the audience. Since 1994, Comesa today has 21 member states. And this is an organization that is the drive force into integration in the African continent. Several positive several progress steps have been achieved in terms of integration of policies in the production sector. In 2020 has been unfortunately been badly hit by the pandemic with COVID-19 prevailing around them. But in the face of such a challenge, Comesa has adopted resilience steps and virtual access and the use of ICT in most of its activity. In 2021, many of such online meetings have laid the ground towards the pursuit and the implementation of our program. Comesa has continued to work on elaboration of projects and of the digital free exchange area. Today, it is imperative that all the stakeholders of Comesa should renew their engagement on the ideals and the objectives of our organization. And this requires the acceleration of the frameworks and protocols of typical policies in this respect. Mr. President, according to Article 17 and paragraph 8, I have the honor to submit the annual report of Comesa.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Excellency, I wish to request the indulgence of your summit. I've just been informed that the statements that we had called for 2 items before this one by the Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area, His Excellency Wamkele Mene. My apologies. That the statement by the Commonwealth, by the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, the Right Honourable Patricia Scotland, we had tried calling for her, but at that opportune time, there was a technical challenge. She was not able to log on and provide that statement. If I can beg the indulgence of the summit to invite the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, the Right Honourable Patricia Scotland, to give her statement. You have the floor, please, ma'am. I thank you for your indulgence, Excellencies. The summit program may proceed, if the chairperson may agree. It appears the Secretary General of the Commonwealth is having network challenges. Excellency Chairperson, in terms of the program, we have reached the point for a short break for 15 minutes. With the permission of the chairperson, may I be allowed to requesting summit to take that short break for 15 minutes, after which the summit will go into closed session and I would request our observers and the reporters, the newspaper reporters, to take leave as the summit goes into closed session after 15 minutes. Thank you very much, Chairperson.